difference, one cup at a time. Yeah, this is tea time. Yeah, making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time. Making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time.
Where am I? Where am I? I forgot to put myself back in here. There I am. Welcome to Tea Time. We are back here for the last Tea Time of this week. And boy, has it been a day. This morning we started with porn addictions, then we went to Crohn's disease, and now we're going to be talking about chin up, tits out. That's right. We're going to talk sex, but in a different, clean way because that's just what Miss Liz does. So grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your glass of wine because tonight you should grab a glass of wine because the author that I have in the back studio waiting is Miranda O. And she's going to be talking about her book series called Chin Up, Tits Out. That's right. I said it. For all the guys that have been listening and watching my posts and saying, Miss Liz, what tea are you drinking lately? I'm not drinking a spicy tea. I'm drinking a good, strong tea. And that's what we're going to do tonight is we're going to serve a good, strong TEA with Miranda O. So before we get started, we're going to do all the good stuff, disclaimer, bio, and then we're going to get Miranda in here, and she's going to spill a good TEA with all of you guys tonight on her books and on life and all of that chin up and tits out. Yeah, that's right. Get ready. Girls, grab your wine because tonight is going to be a good tea time. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time live show. Miss Liz myself is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any Tea Time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, may bring forward dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the giving time of airing. All Tea Time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussion for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in tonight's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that this show is not made for you at this time, I respect that choice and I will see you at a later show at a later date and time. And again, 2023, all tea times are on Thursday, unless they are a rescheduled tea time, then they will be on a Monday or a Tuesday. So now a little bit on Miranda. Who is Miranda? Well, Miranda O. She is the author of the Chin Up, Tits Out series. Her motto in life is always have a chin up, tits out attitude, no matter what. When the tough gets going, there is no shame in sipping some wine and having an ugly cry. Life is a wild ride. Sharing the twisted stories is what brings us together. She hopes that her stories bring you lots of laughter, some shock, and a few tears. She encourages alcoholic beverages when reading. It will enhance your reading experience. She would love to connect with you and never forget to Chin up, tits out hashtag. Your life will change if you keep that positive mental attitude. Promise. Cheers to you. XOXO. So I threw the XOXO in there because we're going to do some XOXO tonight with Miranda. So let me get Miranda in here so I can sip on my tea. Welcome, Miranda.
Hi, hi, how are you?
So let's get started like I do this with all the guests. Let's talk about the little Miranda to the big Miranda, and then we're going to get into the chins up, tits out.
Oh, are you guys better get better buckle up? I'm just kidding.
I told you guys it's going to be a wild ride. We're going to really do some strong tea tonight. So grab your
Oh
wine,
yeah,
put the tea aside, or
exactly.
grab a tequila. There's a tea in tequila.
Tequila.
So a little bit on you, Miranda, as a little girl to who you are now.
Yeah, so I grew up in the prairies in Canada and have a younger brother, have a mom and a dad, and pretty close to my expanded or extended family. Um, and I was very active. My family stuck me in everything, stuck my brother and I into everything. So I played competitive sports until I was a teenager and then whipped out of sports and right into working. I think I was working like 7 days a week at 16. It was ridiculous and going to school. I had more money in a bank account at 16 than I have money in like my regular checking account now as a mid 30-year-old. It's so embarrassing. You're like,
How
how?
did you do it?
How? um, and right out of high school, I got into actually a pretty competitive college program for creative communications, and I graduated with a major in public relations and a minor in broadcast production. Naturally did not use that education specifically in that profession or that line of work at all. From the time I've graduated to now, I've had several different careers, including doing airbrush tattoos at different festivals. I worked at a bathroom place, so I sold toilets and vanities. I could tell you what toilets flushed bigger things. And what else did I do? Oh, I sold cars for a little bit and worked in the auto industry for a few years. And then I actually got headhunted into the corporate world in finances and finance and insurance. So I'm now a trainer in that line of work. I've been there for 8 years. Absolutely love it. And once I got into the corporate role, running in a bunch of sales positions prior to that, I was very busy with just that job. Oh, and I even forgot. Funny story. So I got married at 20. Forgot that big one.
That's a big one, Miranda.
That's a big one. Uh, so you obviously know that was like it was just a part of the story, and it was a fun part. My ex husband is now my ex husband, but he and I had a very tumultuous love story. It was up and down, hot and cold. It was long distance. There was immigration involved. There was a lot that went on in our time together, and that ultimately ended. It ended with cancer and mental illness, and then he kind of just vanished. It was a very, very weird time in my life. So naturally, I wrote all about it, slapped a fiction label on it, and said, "Hey, chin up,
There you
tits out,
go. That's
baby."
how we do it.
That's how we do. So when people are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," I'm like, "No, no, no. See, you don't understand. I've written and published 3 books. I've healed. I've shared with the world literally all of my mistakes, saying like, yeah, it's okay to laugh at me, or 2, completely relate to me, and 3, maybe I can." Prevent you from learning lessons the hard way, because I learned lessons the hard way.
Right?
Um, so that was a big chunk of my life, and then I went on like 7 or 8 years of dating. My marriage broke when I was, I think, 23. I was getting divorced. Married at 20, divorced by 23. So I spent the rest of my 20s figuring out what I wanted in myself, what I wanted in a partner. And then at 30, I didn't have any of that. So I had a meltdown like any good 30-year-old does. It's not a
I thought I was
pleasant
going to be
birth.
dead at 30. My grandma called me on my 30th birthday and she's like, hello. I was like, hello. She's like, you alive? I was like, yeah. She's like, happy birthday. Goodbye. Oh,
What?
I
Like,
told you you'd be alive, girl.
right? You're just, I don't know what it is. It's like 18 feels so far away.
Yeah.
But then at 18, you thought that 30, you would have your life sorted out. And as you get older, you realize you know less. Like you thought you know more, but you actually know less. Um,
It seems to go
so,
backwards, right?
right? It's so, oh,
You're 16, you know everything. You get to 30,
it's,
I don't know
I
anything.
know nothing, and it hits you hard. And yeah, so in there, wrote a few books, and then just before the pandemic hit, like weeks before the world locked down, I launched my third book and was on, I don't know, maybe like a third date with somebody, and well, now we have 3 kids and we live in the suburbs.
See what happens during the pandemic? She was busy.
Yeah. But I will preface that it was extremely planned and very thought out. It wasn't just a whoopsie or a mistake. There were several deep rooted conversations, not only with us, but medical professionals and our families. Just it was important to us and it fit. And yeah, it was kind of just that right time. I also had endometriosis and adenomyosis. So my reproductive system and organs were not the healthiest to begin with. So we really kind of took a chance and took an opportunity to figure if it would work. And it did, not once, but twice. And we got a buy one, get one deal the second time.
Because you did have twins, right?
We did. Yeah, they're 9 months old and they were 36 weeks. So they were like just a little bit premature. And came out like full size, full term babies, 2 of them. And
Wow.
now they're just massive, like already, and their heads are bigger than their sisters. And I have a 2-year-old too. Yeah, it's a wide, like, from little girl to now. I could give you stories till the cows come home. Like I said,
Well, the
buckle up.
cows are coming home, and
Yeah.
too we're going to have those stories. So, if anybody would like to share this tea time, go ahead, share it. And check out the YouTube channel. Ring that bell. Subscribe to the channel, and let's just really get these tea times out there. We got to really have some fun sometimes. And today has been a fun day. All of my guests have been amazing. And Miranda, you're finishing it up with chin up, tits out. Like just that statement, put your chin up, girl. Tits
Yep.
out.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you flop your tits out.
Oh
It means
gosh, no.
perk those babies up, put them up a
Yes.
little.
Yeah, yeah. Stand tall, stand proud. I think I was watching Bridgerton recently. And somebody in the picture, or not in the picture, like a maid of some sort, was getting one of the people dressed up in their costumes. And she's just like, all right, shoulders back, chin up. And I'm like, that's basically the title of my book, except I use words that catch your eye because there's a million titles. So from a marketing point of view, I want to catch your eye with the word tits. But what
Right?
I really mean is to stand up tall, put your shoulders back and your head held high, look confident, even if you don't feel confident. And that feeling, if you look confident on the outside, if you do it enough, one, people around you are going to believe it, and two, you're going to begin to believe it. If you walk into a room of hundreds of people and you know nobody, you stand up tall and confident, you make a presence in the
Yep.
room. It might take some time, but then people will start to come to you.
Or you just yell the word tits and everyone looks.
Yeah. Exactly. Or
But that
that.
is a good marketing. That is good marketing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did learn some stuff in college. I did. It was 2 years of like sharing out of chaos, but there's some things retained.
You know, sometimes we have to market in a different way, right? We have to have that eye catch.
Yeah,
What is this
exactly.
about? Oh, she meant this. You know, the different perspective. And
Yeah.
like you said, stand tall and stand proud.
Hmm.
When you're standing proud and your babies are proud and they're really bundled nice and tight, you do make a difference. You do make an impact, and that
Yeah.
eye will, catch you.
Yeah,
You don't always
exactly.
have to undress and just flop them out. You that happens in the
Except for
in
like 5 p.m. on Fridays.
right.
That's
It's
just
like
you
swing the
just
bra
like
off.
unleash the beasts. Where they land, they land.
For all the ladies out there, we know what it's like when that bra comes off. It's heaven.
Oh,
It's good.
it's wonderful. I loved the beer commercial. The one beer commercial with the bra that comes off after work, and I'm like, you know that there are a lot of women that drink your beer, and now there's even more women that drink your beer because you get it. Like
Right?
bras, the construction of bras was not made by a woman. I don't think. I
No,
don't
I don't
think.
think so either. I don't think they were thinking when they made those.
No.
You know, I
Yeah.
think that's why in the 70s they were burning bras because the women were like, you guys don't understand these things. Like, you
No.
don't
No.
understand our boobies.
No, no, not at all. Like I used kinesiology tape because I had a very fancy dress, so I couldn't wear a bra and like 3 kids. So I'm like, this is more comfortable and more supportive than a bra. I'm like, what did you do? You taped your titties, didn't you? Yes, I did.
I
I
taped
did.
those babies.
I taped them and they're in place. They're right where you need them. You get to, choose your level of cleavage. Um, just don't sweat too much, maybe. I'm sure just the tips would come off on the shoulders. But it's okay. It's okay.
So, Miranda, I want to get into the titles of your books, starting
Yes.
with book one.
Yeah, for sure. So, book one is Remember No Matter What, Chin Up. So, really, no matter what, just remember to chin up. So that part of the book is a really fast paced, like you are just flying through the main character's story. There's a lot of love, a lot of loss. Like I said, very fast paced. It's very small, quick read too. And so the main character Hadley just keeps reminding herself that, remember, no matter what, like no matter what, all the stuff, we're just running a million miles a minute forward. Chin up, tits out. Chin up, tits out. Chin up, tits out. And she coaches herself through that in book one. And then in book two, when all else fails, chin up. That's basically what is happening for our main character and everything around her. Everything is literally falling apart. When she tries to do something good, it backfires. Take that one step forward, 3 steps back. Try to hug somebody and they assume that you're attacking them. Like, you know,
Yep.
not that specifically, but you know what I'm trying. Again, I told you I was going to lose my words. This is
Yeah,
me losing my
I know.
words. Um,
We're gonna
assuming
have those
maybe.
moments where we're just like,
Yeah, exactly. So there's, literally everything is failing around her, and she is coaching herself when everything, when all else fails. Chin up, tits out, chin up, tits out, chin up, tits out. Third book, Just Breathe, is simply at some point in your life. And I found that, you know, at that point in my life when I was going back into the dating scene after my loss and then the breakdown of my marriage, there was just breathe. Just take a breath, take a step. Like, that's all you need to do. And now, as a parent, sometimes I'm not taking a step because there's too much chaos around me and I don't want to step on somebody. But I just have to breathe because I might implode or burst out into tears or burst out into weird hysterical laughter. That sounds like a Chucky doll, and you're like, she okay? just so as a parent now, I'm like,
right? I think they should have taught us how to breathe even before we had. I think that's why Lamaze classes started, right? Like Learn how to breathe.
See, and like the power of breath, like if you ever get a chance to go to a breath work class, they may seem hokey pokey, they may seem hoodoo voodoo, they may seem so lame, but if you go into it with an open heart and an open mind and you just let whatever comes out come out, ho ho ho, game changer. You will not believe the power that your own breath has. I sobbed like like everybody in my family died. That is how hard I was hysterically crying through this breath work. After
Yeah.
that, my entire perspective of how strong my breath is and how it can control my reaction to any situation flipped. It was like, oh, I have control over everything that I have control over now, which is nothing externally, but everything internally. Huge wake up for me. Huge wake up. So, anyways, just breathe. Chin up,
So
tits
we have
out.
a question. Where do you find these breathing classes?
Oh God. You know what? Great question. I found one locally with a girl that I went to the gym with. She went to a course in San Diego and learned how to do it over the span of a week or two and was doing her practicum hours and offered it to free to people and she was always really nice to me at the gym and I was like, oh sure, I'll just try it.
Let me come
Like
over and let me breathe.
what do I got to lose? Like let's call it a meditation. Like maybe drank a couple glasses of wine or indulged in like you never. I prepared properly, probably. It was a few years ago. Postpartum mental drop is real, so don't remember the details. I just remember the a release of emotion. And then after that, fully believing that I could handle my reaction to any situation and understanding that situations aren't bad or good. The reaction to the situation is bad or good. And I have control over that. So it was a big learning lesson for me. And I just kind of taken that on to everything now in my life moving forward. So,
Well, we're
but
both
you
in
can Google.
Canada, right, Miranda? So,
Yeah, but honestly, the training was done in the States. So, like, I would Google search breathwork classes locally in whatever town or city that you're in and see if there is. She just organized classes through her Instagram page. So, it wasn't anything huge or overly commercial. But even like YouTube, there's stuff. I just Google breathwork
well,
and
I guess it's
breathwork
like laughing
classes.
yoga, right? Where they just laugh.
Yeah,
Like,
probably. I
you
think
know,
the
so we just
idea
breathe.
of
We
it,
just,
it's yeah, they get you to breathe into like into beats and tunes
oh,
and then they lift you up and get you to like think about things and so it is guided breathing um and there's usually music that goes with the breath and the guidance messaging so let's call it like a meditation with like actual specific breathing patterns and it's a wild ride. It's a wild ride.
yeah, I'm going to have to look into that. I'm going to have to get a guest that does that so we can do some breathing.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
What's your podcast today? Oh, we're breathing. We're just
Right, we're just
breathing. Just
breathing. It's
breathe.
a live breath work session. Come one, come all.
Right?
Don't operate machinery while watching this podcast.
So we have a question here. You keep saying have a glass of wine with your books. So they would like to know what is your favorite wine to go to?
Ooh, okay. I bubbles are
Oh,
always delightful for any occasion. Now, depending if it's super hot outside, I will very happily go to a Chardonnay. And if I'm eating some sort of rich meat or rich meal, or it's kind of cozy, like you want to be cozy because of the weather, I'll do an Old Vine Zinfandel. My parents are super wine snobby, so when I was 18, I had like a $30 bottle pallet and then when I moved out, I couldn't afford a $30 bottle, so I had to suffer and drink the $10 bottles of wine for a little while, and had to retrain my palate. But now that I'm an actual adult,
Now I can drink the
I
$30.
can drink the $30. I'll like buy it and save it for like a special occasion that I'm alone and I don't have to share it.
Yeah, and you don't want to be popping a bottle of wine and then, Mom,
Yeah.
oh,
No,
it's like, oh.
mom's not here right now.
So, where do you enjoy your wine?
Where? Oh my goodness. Okay, so if it is summertime where I am, it is either very, very hot or very, very cold. If it's in the summertime, I am outdoors. I love to be outdoors. The other day, like I said, I was watching Bridgerton. I wrapped up in blankets, not because it was cold, because the mosquitoes were really bad and I didn't have bug spray. So I was watching Bridgerton off my phone, wrapped up in a blanket and drinking a bubbly, sparkling water out of with like a straw. My husband came outside. He's like, "You okay?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah. It's just quiet outside. I'm
It's
fine.
the bugs. It's the bugs.
It's okay." He's like, "Oh my God, you're so crazy." Um, and then in the wintertime or cozy weather, you will find me perched up to a fake fireplace because I don't have a real one, or a south facing back window so it gets the heat from the sun.
Oh,
I'm like a perched little house cat in the winter. I just find the warm spot and sit on it. um,
we have sun here. I'm going here.
right, right. I'm just this little sunmonger, and my husband is the opposite. He's the vampire. I'm like, yeah, I don't know how we ended up together,
Well,
but
opposites attract, right?
we do,
So,
we do
you know,
exactly.
you need that yin and yang. You need that.
Yeah,
You do.
exactly. So it's a good balance.
So, out of all three books, what is the top spot in your book that really just was hard to write?
Oh, um, all of book two.
All of book two?
All of book two. Um, if you have gone through an illness, a disease, um, a disability with your partner, then whether you are the patient or the caregiver, this book will hit you hard. Like I'll be frank with you. Like it is it is very hard to read for people that have been touched by cancer. It is hard for people to read that have been touched by mental illness. And it's hard for people to read that have been touched with addiction. So all very taboo, tough subjects. And quite frankly, I went through it with my partner, and I felt terribly alone, even though I was completely well supported by my family and friends. There was no way that I could have felt any other way. And it was horrible. As a caregiver, I felt helpless and attempted to make gestures and kindness that always backfired and made things worse. And so not only writing that and reliving that was that was hard. It like there were times I was living with a bunch of roommates at that time, and all of them happened to be men. And I'm sitting there and I'm at the table and I'm like headphones on, blaring the most obnoxious music, probably like some sort of gangster tunes, and like my bottle of wine and my glass. I'm just sobbing and hammering the keyboard, like lost the color of the letters on some of the keys during that writing. And they're like, "We need to go take you out for a drive," and they would just like put my head against the window and open the window and just drive around the block and let the wind air me out. So reliving that was really hard. Reliving that was really hard from a sense of just going through all the trauma again. Cancer, it was one hurdle, one bad news thing after another. And then, the mental illness that came from that, and then the addiction, counting pain medication to make sure that he wasn't going to overdose, hiding medication. It reliving that was traumatic in itself. But then also realizing how much I gave up of myself. There was no personal boundaries. I dropped all the walls. I gave everything. And then when he left, there was nothing left more of me. There was nothing left. I had to rebuild from the ground up. And that's everything of me, like emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, everything I had to build up. So realizing that, I made mistakes in my choices, which had led me to the outcome that I was in. That was a very hard pill to swallow. But then once book 3 came out, which was a few years after I published book 1 and 2 back to back, it gave me that time to really process all the lessons that I learned while writing that book. And then I was able to implement those lessons not only in my life, but then reap the rewards and kind of see them as I was writing book 3. I'm like, oh my goodness, look at this red flag that I pointed out beforehand and I avoided. So as much as it is hard, it is part of the story. It's necessary. I feel like with every tragedy and loss and hard time or any extreme negative emotion that you feel, the bigger the extreme on the negative part, now you have the flip side on the opposite part, right? So if you experience extreme low, you now have the opportunity to experience extreme high. It's your choice. Are you going to take it? Because if you have suffered for so long in the extreme lows, part of us believes that we never deserve the extreme highs. But quite on the opposite, or on the contrary, we deserve and we should be living up here. But it's a choice that we have to make, and it's hard choices sometimes that we have to make, like standing with your chin up and your tits out when it's hard. So yeah, that was a very long answer to your question.
No, that's good, because you actually hit on a lot of things. And when we're writing our books, and we're as an author, we relive what we write, and I'm guessing that the characters that you made in your books, Miranda, are actually you.
Yes, my main character Hadley is definitely she is very similar to me. I'm going to tell you she is more refined. Mostly because I hired somebody to refine her.
Tone it down a bit.
And I had to call it fiction. Like, I'm a girl from the prairies, just with a wild story. Like, if I were to label this, the autobiography of Haley, or not Hadley, sorry, Miranda you would be like, who's this? And why does she think she needs an autobiography? Like, what is so special about her life? So I figured, you know what? Let's just split my story into just three distinct parts. I was 3 distinct people in those parts, and so I wrote Hadley around that, and it was the best healing method for me. And I have learned so much as a writer, and as a professional in the world as well. The last few years, it's wonderful. It's so cool, and I just can't wait to continue to create whatever life throws at me.
Well, and this is what we have to do, right? When we're in pain and we're going through stuff, we just got to release it. And writing does that. And I think Miranda's frozen. I'm not sure what Miranda's doing. Miranda, you're kind of sitting still there. Wiggle a little girl, so I know you're
Can
still
you hear me?
around.
I don't know. It just locked me out.
Yeah, I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Wiggle, wiggle. Am I there?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're here, but you're frozen. You're like sitting all chin up and tits out.
but I'm frozen. Ah.
I can see you moving now. You're
Okay.
smiling.
Can you see me moving now?
Yes, I can. You're kind of stuck again. You're frozen again. Now you're
I'm
releasing, you're
so
moving.
sorry.
So, no, that's okay. Technology, things happen. So, Miranda, you can hear me though, right? Oh, I think she might have froze for good.
Can you
And
hear
she's
me now?
back. I can.
Okay. Okay, I hope I'm back. I did
You
a
are.
little reload.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. 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 Sorry. 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 Technology. I don't
That's
know what happened to
fine.
the internet.
It didn't have its glass of wine yet.
No, apparently not. It's tapping out for the night, apparently.
So I want to talk to you about twisted stories because I when I did some research on you online, I found the word twisted a couple of times in some of your write-ups. So what does twisted stories mean to you?
I think twisted stories for me is just a fancy way of saying that I'm going to tell you a story that has something in it that's probably taboo to talk about. Um, and it's just maybe a friendly way as a disclaimer. If you don't want to hear the twisted tea, walk away now.
Oh, here we go. We're gonna get into the twisted tea because I want to know what your tea is. So if I give you the word TEA, what are you going to give me tonight?
Ooh, I'm excited because I wrote it down and then I took a picture just in case the typing disappeared. Um, okay, so thoughtfulness, enthusiasm, and adaptability is totally where I am at right now.
So you want to tell me why?
Yes. Thoughtfulness is very challenging. Very, very challenging. Especially when you have a 2 year old who's a tyrant sometimes, but also like the apple to my eye at the same time. Thoughtfulness for my partner and I, we are in the thick of parenting, and it is so easy to not say good morning or not give them a kiss goodbye because you're running in different directions. It's so easy not to be thoughtful, but to spend a half a second to be thoughtful has worked so many benefits into our relationship, and continuing to just be positive and balanced and healthy through the thick of 3 children in under 2 years. And thoughtfulness when it comes to when it comes to my writing and sharing my stories, in every aspect of my life, I feel like if you go that little extra bit just to be thoughtful, it really comes back in a lot of karma, karma, cosmic action. Like when you put a little bit of goodness out, you get a lot of goodness back. Enthusiasm, I am over enthusiastic about everything, and now that I have children, I'm even extra, which I never thought it was possible. Like I will head dive into a pile of leaves just because they're there watching me and I want to. Did I want to do that as a 28-year-old, a 20-year-old, heck, a 16-year-old? No, but now I'm like, woo! You're gonna
Mama's
like
going for
it.
the leaves.
Right, so I'm going for it, and like I have this thought in my head that if I can out enthusiasticism, that's not the word, but if I can out excite my children in something, especially if I don't want to do it, they're like, "Oh, she's being weird. Like, let's not do it anymore." You want to go to a pool? I want to go to a pool. I want to go to a pool. Let's go to a pool. And then I roll on the ground and I act like a child. And she's like, I don't want to go to a pool anymore. I'm like, yeah,
Mom, I'm not going with
yes.
you.
So, enthusiasm, I feel like, has a lot of power. It is contagious, or it can repel. repel, so you can use that how you want. Um, and adaptability, I think, is very important to me as a human, especially where I am right now. But just life is fast. Life is very fast, but change is good. Change is scary, but change is good. And I think if you are open and adaptable to whatever scenario it is, you have that control of your reaction. You're like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. You know, I might not be living in this home tomorrow. That's okay. It wasn't meant to be. Something better is coming down the road of that. You know, I might have this idea and it might come to fruition. It might not come to fruition. And if it does, great. Let's make the best of it. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, adaptability is, I think, a huge thing. Again, for me as a parent and as a professional, I have to adapt and put many hats on. I have to put the wheels on the bus hat on, and I have to put on the person who knows how to say enthusiasm and adaptability without stumbling over the words.
Try and say that 5 times.
Exactly. You know, or like I want to be that competent communicator, you know, that's civil in speaking. And you're like, okay, that's a lot of big words. I'm like, yes, it is. But you know what? I sing Wheels on the Bus and Yitsy Bitsy
I knew you were
Spider
coming with the wheels on the bus.
and happy birthday to you and you know, in a wild crocodile. Like I got all of those down, but I still gotta throw out my big words like compliance and adaptability. There, you know what, there it is. I can't. I do use a thesaurus when I write, so if you are worried about the same word being overused, don't worry. The thesaurus helps me out. Can't say words properly either, but yeah.
Well, that's when
So
you just
that's
go, yeah.
yeah,
You
exactly. And
know
then I
what
just
I
end up
mean.
sticking my tongue out, and you're just like, "What are you doing, ma'am? This is an audio podcast only." Why are you making
Nobody
those
sees that
faces?
tongue, right?
Shoot, that's why I could never be in radio. Okay.
That's why I do live, because you can see the action, right? If you want to stick your tongue out, you stick your tongue out, and I can see it.
Yeah. Oh
Now,
goodness.
I also asked you this question. I asked all my guests this question. One word to describe yourself as an individual, and you gave me vivacious.
Vivacious.
Vivacious. See, I can't even say it.
Vivacious. Vivacious.
So, what does that word mean, and why that word?
Well, I mean, just envision saying it like vivacious, and then you're like, oh, that's Miranda. It just sounds like it goes. No, but
There's no restraining Miranda.
if you Google search vivacious, my picture will come up. No, just kidding.
It'll be the first image.
Maybe on Urban Dictionary, you never know what you're going to find there. But vivacious, it's just you have this zest for life and you're enthusiastic and as much as I am an introvert, because I very much like my downtime and my quiet time, when I am on and I am out in the world, I will be that person. I will try to lock eyes with you just so I could give you a nod to say hi, to give you a smile. Why? Because it makes me happy. That's all. If it makes you happy, that's a bonus, but it makes me happy. So I just try to live life like that when I'm out and about, and when I'm home, I'm very much quiet and in my space and in myself, as much as I can be with a household of 6 people. So, you know, my alone time is typically met with children and bodily fluids and fun stuff, but you know, it's still a lot different than when I am out. And so that's the word that I use to describe myself, which is mostly what people see.
And I've never ever gotten that word before, so I was just like, well,
Oh.
that's a different one. I love when my guests give me different words I've never heard. Same as your tea, I haven't gotten adaptability before. It's
Oh.
just amazing how we serve different flavors. And I
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
expecting any of that from you. I was expecting titties, examples, attitude. Like I was looking for these words and I was like, oh, she's going to surprise me. She's
Oh
coming
my
this way.
goodness. So, you know what? I Google searched vivacious and it means attractively, lively, and animated. So, that makes sense. I said like a fire for life and zesty for
Right?
life or whatever. I said, so yeah, there we go. I had some thought behind that word when you asked me to answer that question. Do I remember? No, I don't. We booked this last year. I don't remember,
Right?
unfortunately.
That's what I mean. Like some of these guests have been booked since 2022, so we don't
Yeah.
remember a lot of things, right?
Oh goodness, no.
So I asked you what your favorite color was, and you gave me purple.
Yes.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. There's something I like that royal purple color. So there is something very luxurious to it. It's feminine. I do enjoy pink. I love pink, but it's not as feminine as pink. It can be a little masculine and a little bit harder as well. Um, and it's calming. There's something about purple that just makes me feel calm inside. And just living very lively and animated, my calm time, as you can tell, is very important to me. So I live on both extremes in that sense, right? I'm either like up, or like super quiet and like deep breathing and calm and still. So,
Well, I see the purple because you said luxurious. You know,
yeah, yeah,
like yeah, I see that as Miranda's color. Like
yeah, yeah.
you know, and this is what it is when we ask colors and we try to understand why people like certain colors. There's always a meaning behind it, right?
Oh,
There's
for
always something
sure.
that grabs us. And purple is royal, man. And it's like that chin up, tits out, right? It's I'm coming in the room. Royal is coming in the room. Pay attention.
Yep, exactly, exactly. And and there was a point. So now I can walk into the room, and if people look at me, like I said, I'm looking at you and I'm smiling. Like I'm not afraid of eye contact. If you can picture me walking into a public place post my separation after all that stuff happened, I white knuckled somebody, my girlfriend. We walked in a line. I white knuckled the back of her pants, like the belt loop, looked down at her, like looked there, and did not take my eyes off of her back the whole time we walked through and I said, I want to go home. Like I'm done. I want to go home. She's like, we just got here. You were making it 30 minutes. And I was like, ah. And then some little short man came up and his pants got stuck in my pantyhose because they were pretty pantyhose they were like lacy. And then they got stuck. I was like, you touched me. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Luckily our friend who was picking us up, he brought McDonald's. And that was just the saving grace. He's like, here's a cheeseburger. I was like, I hope you have two because I am traumatized. One is going to get me back down to okay, and then the second one is actually going to make this night a success. So I require two cheeseburgers and a ride right home. He's like, yes, yes, ma'am.
So is that your go-to cheeseburgers?
Oh, goodness. Well, yeah, when I used to go out clubbing, it was, oh no, it was a McDouble with extra pickles because extra pickles are just delightful. But yeah, you know what? A burger. Give me a greasy burger any day. Not even doesn't even have to be a greasy burger. Just give me a burger every day. We have Costco burgers in every freezer in our house. We have 3 freezers in our house. And we have
She's a burger girl.
we have burgers in every freezer. Yeah, so, but we only have like barbecue season for 6 months of the year. I don't,
Right?
yeah.
You got to barbecue in the wintertime too. Come on, you're Canadian.
I do. I just haven't since we moved out to the suburbs. I've been too pregnant to barbecue in the wintertime, and we don't really have the greatest of the setup. Like we kind of face a farm field, so the wind picks up.
Well, the
and
cows will
drifts.
come home.
the cows, they can come home. Oh, Bessie needs to come home because that wind that piles up back there. Like we had 8-foot snow drifts last year. I was very pregnant. No, I was only like 3 or 4 months pregnant, but like 4 months pregnant with twins. Didn't know I had twins, and we're like hobbling through like 4 foot snowdrifts trying to shovel out our window wells of the basement. We looked at each other. We're like, yo, we need to come up with something different for like income because we need to get out of here for winter time. Like, screw retirement and snowbirding. Let's just figure out how to live somewhere else for the winter time.
Right? Go to Florida for the winter. But then
I
again,
swear.
Florida gets snow now, so
Like, I don't even know. I don't know. It's so crazy. Oh well.
so we're getting almost to the end of our show here, but I want to get into a few more things.
Yeah.
I did share in the video that you love to travel,
Yeah.
you love the beach,
Yeah.
and you love sunsets. So you want to tell us a little bit about all of those?
Yeah, for sure. So traveling to me is about culture, and appreciating where you're at. I've traveled, I lived in and out of South Africa for a few years. I've traveled all throughout the Caribbean, and all kind of throughout Western Canada and, a handful of states. So I'm not extensively traveled, but I am traveled. I've left the country and travel on my own, travel with groups. And then on the flip side, I was an Airbnb host for a few years, and I rented out a room in my condo. So
Oh,
if we both opened our bedroom doors at the same time, we saw each other. And I had maybe 10 days unbooked a year. And I hosted guests from over 40 countries. And in that time, I met incredible friends. Actually, one of my very closest, dearest friends, it was my first Airbnb guest. I learned so much, learned how to cook, learned different languages. And so traveling gave me this new perspective that, again, I don't know everything. And the more conversations you have with people from around the world with different perspectives and different backgrounds and different experiences, you not only learn so much, but then at the same time, you realize, okay, everybody's very different. Everybody sees things differently, processes things differently, feels things differently. But the thing that we all experience the same is feelings feel the same. So if I'm mad, those feelings manifest physically inside of me similarly to how they would manifest in you if you were angry. Same thing if I was excited or happy, right? You want to smile, so your face goes up, your jaw clenches, you have butterflies in your stomach, you want to make your arms big, like all those physical attributes that start to happen when you feel an extreme emotion. If somebody's experiencing the same extreme emotion, they're feeling those feelings the same, or those same physical feelings. So I learned really quickly all the differences, but like at our core, we're all identical. So it very much gave me some cool perspective. Sunsets and sunrises are the most peaceful, rejuvenating times of the day. If you can sit and watch it happen, you are setting your day right or ending your day right. Realizing that we are a speck of dust in this universe. It humbles you. It refuels your cup. You let go of the stuff that doesn't matter. I think sunsets and sunrises are so powerful, except up until parenthood, I never made it up to sunrises.
I'm
so
sleeping.
so sunsets are where it's at, but recently 5:45 has been our wake time, so I can almost watch them. And then you asked me for one more thing.
The beaches.
The ocean. Okay. Well, beaches, yeah, cool, but we're going to talk about oceans and beaches, and it's the same ideology of the sunsets holding that power. The ocean, I'm petrified of the ocean, but I love the ocean. I can sit and float in it and appreciate it and sit and watch it and appreciate it, but when she gets angry, you'll find me on the top of a mountain. Like, no hesitation.
You're
A
running.
storm crosses 100 miles away, I'm up the mountain. Like, I could never live on a coastal city because my anxiety of like a tsunami or the end of the world is extreme. Yes, I understand that, but I just couldn't do it.
She's like Woody Woodpecker. She's gone.
Oh, done. Like, done. Where did Miranda go? She went to the bunker up up
She's
I
way
ninety
up
two,
there.
up 13,000 feet. She's gone. Why? Because a blip on the radar in the next county
There's a wave
over,
too big.
there's a wave, and you're like, oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so yeah, that's oceans. I honestly, when I go on a vacation to a beach, I will sit. That's when I'll watch a sunset and a sunrise, sunset, and on the beach. Like, I'm out of there. Please just let me do this, and the rest of the day I could be yours. But that's when I come home after that week-long vacation, completely rejuvenated.
See, you got it. All you needed
Look,
was those
that it
wheels on
was
the bus.
right, right. So yeah, but those are definitely important pieces to me refilling my cup. Um, and I just don't get that. I get the sunsets and the sunrises and the prairies. I'll get that, but we just don't get the ocean.
Yeah.
The lakes will do it for me too, but we don't really live close to a lake, unfortunately. So we only get to go up there every now and then.
There's a big difference though between the lakes and the
Yeah.
oceans. Like
Oh,
the
you can feel the ocean in you when you're sitting next to it. I like, especially on like day 5 of a vacation, even if you're nowhere near the ocean, when you lie down, that your body is doing this. If you tune into it, your body's doing this, and it is magical. I'm like, oh,
it's like a
who,
waterbed.
yeah, who needs booze or like drugs when you got the ocean and the sunset and maybe a little tequila? But I'm just kidding. But right, like, there's a power to the ocean. And on the land next to it, though, like, I don't think I have any interest in like sailing around the world or anything. Maybe on like a big cruise ship, but I don't know.
There comes the breathing.
Just a breath.
Take a breath. So Miranda, where can people get your book?
Ooh, you can find my books on Amazon. My third one I had to pull off because I did a cover redesign. So I do have hard copies. I'm happy to mail them to people. But the cover redesign is done. I just need to get my kids out of my hair for like maybe 2 business days to box set everything and then to put it on. So you can buy 1 and 2 on Amazon right now, and just shoot me a Facebook or an Instagram or whatever, and we'll get you a 3rd book mailed out.
So is there any works for book 4?
Not the Chin Up Tits Out series, but I do have my next series planned out, and the first book is about 60% written. It's taken me a long time.
I can't wait to see what it's going to be all about.
Oh yeah, I'll give you a little tidbit. The titles of that series is called Love My Lady Bits.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You just took me to the side again, girl. Like, it shows that you were a sport competitor. She's coming with that ball, but you think she's going for that goal? No, she's coming around and she's coming to get you.
Oh yeah, it's a jugular, baby, all the way. You go hard or go home. Actually, you be efficient. No, I'm just kidding.
So, any final words, Miranda, before we wrap up? Before we get booted off.
Right, exactly. If you have a set of lady bits, love them. Whether you own them or they belong to your partner, love them, take care of them, appreciate them, and understand they go crazy. They got minds of their own. So I'm really excited to share that stories with you. But in the meantime, just a little reminder to chin up, tits out, and stand tall no matter what, because it will work out. Every situation is temporary. It's all about how you react. So stay positive, folks.
I had a blast tonight. I had a blast all day. These guests are just amazing. And we're going to do the whole thing again next week. 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 7 p.m. And next week we're doing doggies and peace. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of amazing things coming. So we have Elder Dogs Canada coming on, and then we have Chubby Beagle coming on, a dog production company coming on, and then we have Dr. Teresa Mosley who will be coming on, and she's a peace ambassador. So we're going to be doing a lot of different things. So tune in, grab that channel, subscribe to that channel, ring that bell, and you'll be notified when all these incredible tea times are coming. So again, Miranda, I want to thank you so much for sitting with me and sharing such a good, strong tea and taking me on a twist. We really needed that twisted tea tonight. So you really twisted it up.
It's
So
beautiful.
thank
Thanks
you
for
for
having
that.
me.
And thank you to all the viewers and supporters of Tea Time with Miss Liz. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. So again, thank you to everybody. And I will see everybody next Thursday, same time, same place, and we'll do it all over again.